The Monastery of Gates might be one of the most important locations introduced in dragon trading. However, ever since it first appeared, it has been sitting right in front of us, quietly raising some of the biggest questions in the entire series. And one of those questions is surprisingly simple. How many realms are there in Ninjago after the merge? Because depending on where you look, the answer changes. And today we're going to figure out why and how many realms are there actually in Ninjago. So yeah, let's start. The Monastery of Gates is exactly what its name suggests, a monastery connected to portals that lead between the realms. After the merge, similar monasteries appeared across reality, creating a network that allows travel between different realms. On the surface, it seems rather simple, just a transportation system, a way of moving from one realm to another. But one of the first strange details comes from the number of gates themselves, because when Cole explored the monastery for the first time, he counted 16 gates leading to 16 different realms. At first, that sounds completely normal. For years, Ninjago was connected to 16 neighboring realms, so 16 gates makes perfect sense. Except it doesn't. Because the moment you start counting realms, everything becomes much more complicated. For years, the rule was straightforward. There was Ninjago and 16 neighboring realms, creating a total of 17 realms. Then the merge happened. Suddenly, some of those realms began changing. The Cursed Realm and the Departed Realm effectively became part of the spectral lands. Realms started overlapping, merging and interacting with each other in ways they never had before. The simple counting system that existed for years became far more confusing. And that's where the Monastery of Gates becomes interesting. If every gate represents a realm, then the monastery should give us a clear answer to how many realms actually exist. Instead, it creates even more questions. Depending on how you count the spectral lands and Ninjago itself, the numbers never seem to fit perfectly together. And then, Season 4 made things even stranger. During Lloyd's vision involving the Source Dragons, we can see something that should not be possible. Surrounding the Source Dragon symbols are 18 realm symbols. Not 16, not 17, 18. One extra realm. And that's where things start falling apart, because if there are 18 realms, the Monastery of Gates suddenly doesn't make sense anymore. There are only 16 gates visible inside the monastery. At the monastery you're currently standing in, and that gives us 17 connections. Yet, Lloyd's vision clearly shows 18 realm symbols. So what is actually going on? One possibility is that the difference comes from the spectral lands. Since the Cursed Realm and the Departed Realm originally existed as separate realms, perhaps two of symbols in Lloyd's vision represent them individually, while the monastery only requires a single gate to access both. That would explain why we see 18 symbols, but only 17 accessible locations. But there's also another possibility. Maybe there really are 18 realms, and if that's true, then one realm is missing. One realm that somehow isn't represented by a visible gate. One realm that doesn't follow the same rules as the others. And that immediately brings us back to the mysterious red symbol from Lloyd's vision. The symbol that flashes red. The symbol that drifts away from the others. The symbol that almost looks disconnected from the entire system. Now, I've already made a full video discussing the possibility that this realm is actually the Land of Eternal Dawn, so I won't spend this entire video repeating that theory, but regardless of whether that theory is correct or not, the Monastery of Gates becomes even more important because it forces us to ask a very simple question. Where is the gate? Because if the monastery exists to connect all realms together, then every realm should have access to it. Unless one realm was intentionally hidden. And that's where Rust's Master enters the conversation. Out of all places in existence, the Shadow Dojo and the Monastery of Gates were moved to the Land of Eternal Dawn. That decision alone should make us suspicious. Rust's Master could have hidden them almost anywhere. He could have chosen a remote mountain range, an isolated region of the wilderness, or some forgotten location nobody would ever discover. Instead, he chose the one realm we understand the least. A realm filled with illusions, where people see what they desire most, and a realm that might not even belong to the same system as the others. At first glance, it seems obvious why he would move the monastery there. It makes traveling between realms easier for Rust, but honestly, I think there's more to it than that. Because The Monastery of Gates doesn't feel like a transportation hub anymore. It feels more like a control center. Think about it. Whoever controls these gates controls movement across reality itself. They can monitor travel between realms, access locations most people cannot reach, and potentially influence events happening across the merged world. And if Rust's master truly plans to reverse the merge, gather the source icons, or carry out something even bigger, then controlling the Monastery of Gates would be one of the most important advantages imaginable. So that's why I think the Monastery of Gates is one of the most important locations in Rust's master's plan, because it's a mystery connected to the number of realms, connected to the Land of Eternal Dawn itself, and possibly a mystery connected to whatever Rust's master is really planning. So everything connects together, and right now we still don't know whether there are 17 realms or 18. We still don't know why one symbol drifts away from the others. And we still don't know why the Monastery of Gates was moved to the most mysterious realm in Dragon's Rising. But one thing is becoming more clear. The Monastery of Gates isn't just a way to travel between realms. It's one of the keys to understanding how the entire merged universe actually works. So, what do you think? Is the Monastery of Gates truly connected to every realm, including the Land of Eternal Dawn? Or is there still one hidden gate that nobody has discovered yet? Let me know your theories in the comments below, and I will see you in the next one.